First thing we're going to do is we're going to create a like campaign to get more likes to our Facebook pages. Let me show you a good example. Let's see, right here. When it comes to a likes campaign, unfortunately, the one I have, for example, on the left doesn't show too well. You pretty much want to have a good copy, which is the top part, the very first part of the text, to kind of have a benefit to the Facebook user. For example, this right here says full funnel marketing, and their little benefit, their little text up here says, "Need help with digital marketing for your business? Like our page for free tips and tricks." There's a reason to like the page. So say if it's for your business, maybe you're going to say, "Oh, like our page to get our latest deals," something. Kind of give them like an offer, like, "Hey, you should like our page." Something that's pretty easy. Free tips, free guides. Maybe it's painting tips, or maybe it's solar information, something like that. So then they're like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll give you a like because a like is free." Also, action verbs are great. For example, like get like our page, like get on our page, go to our page, stuff like that. Explanation points, even ask questions to catch more attention. So pretty much like that's kind of where I start with making a like campaign. Now, my page is being a little bit different, but on your guys' pages, you have that nice green button that says create an ad, top right. Go ahead and click that.
Why are things different? Just out of curiosity.
Mine's been set up with about 5 different ad accounts, so mine's a little bit more seasoned, so it kind of jumps right to things. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying. Okay, and you should be on a page that looks similar to this. There's kind of like 3 menus. The left is awareness, right's consideration. Middle's consideration, right is conversion. To go ahead and start a like campaign, click on the one.
You start over. There you go.
Great.
Now we're on the same page.
Click on the middle column. There's going to be one that says engagement. And it's going to actually pull you down to the bottom of the page. You have this little symbol of 2 people with engagement and a little bar underneath it.
That's right.
You're welcome. And go ahead and click on the middle one that says page likes. And then after that, I usually like to name, where it says campaign name, I usually like to rename it something like, say, maybe your company's name, like campaign, or something like that. I'm glad this thing's blurry because then you don't have to see my horrible spelling. Okay, let's scoot through this real quick.
Okay. That's where you're going to type it. Okay.
But go to the exclamation mark again.
Okay, so we're going to be on this page that's going to say create new ad set. It's going to have a page selection, stuff like that. Since we're going to be focusing on a local area, this is going to be the hard part. The part that says pages, a little bit hard to see up here, but this is the part where we just select our page. The next part is going to be called audience. Now from here, this is where you can select who you want to target. Now, since we're all local businesses, it's going to be a little bit more simplified. Okay? Because if you look at locations, which is just a little bit farther down, it says the United States. We're not going to target the entire United States. We don't need to worry about the people in Florida and South Carolina. So if you just put your mouse over where it says United States, you're going to see on the right, there's a little X button. I would just go ahead and just deselect the United States. It's going to be approximately right over here if you can see my little mouse move around. For example, I'm going to just simply type in, because after I delete United States, it allows me to type it in. And then a little bit below it, you can select people's age ranges. Like say, like I know with you guys with solar, probably not going to be too many 18-year-olds that are going to be interested in solar. But anyway, so that's where you select age. Below it is gender, so maybe if you have a product that targets more towards women, or if you just want to target women, you can do so.
Okay.
And one thing I would strongly recommend in adding is languages. Just type in English, U.S. Since we do have a large Hispanic population, Chinese, stuff like that. You want to make sure we're talking to English speakers.
Good.
And under detailed targeting,
So real quick, would I change
Yes.
this for every campaign that I make? So if I wanted to
Mhm.
make a new ad campaign that did focus on women in solar because the ad was about that,
yes.
then I could. Right?
Yes, and actually, you can also save that audience as well.
Okay.
So that way, like, if you want to make another ad targeting that audience that you just made, you can do so real quick instead of remembering, like, all these things.
All the settings. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much in the next class, I'm probably going to be talking more about audiences and stuff like that. We're going to be getting a lot more in depth today. It's a little bit more basic.
Okay.
Let me delete a couple of things from here. Also, another thing I strongly recommend, let me just bring your eyes up back towards location. You know how to the right of location it says people, everyone in this location? I'd strongly recommend clicking on that and selecting people who live in this location.
Oh, we did that.
Because there you could have someone who's just traveling through from Las Vegas.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's
Go
the
back
thing,
up.
you can.
A little bit.
Like, say, maybe if you want to attract people that are driving
You
by,
already live.
you can
So
do so.
people who live in this location
Oh,
versus just traveling through.
So you want my wanted.
how, can we have multiple though?
Multiple locations.
Can we, yeah.
Yeah,
For
you,
people,
Everyone
everyone
in
in
this
this location?
Yeah.
Mhm.
that'd be
So
both.
that would be traveling as well,
yes,
because they would get on and then it should pop up.
yes.
Okay.
I find all this kind of creepy.
Pretty much after this, there's a button here at the bottom that says Save this audience. So if
Okay.
you'd like to save this audience, you can. And now, after we save it,
Helping each other.
there we go. We're going to scroll down to the next part that says Placements. And this is one where you can really lose a lot of money if you're not, unfortunately, looking.
Okay,
Facebook says automatic. I don't.
don't do edit.
Yep, go to edit. And what I pretty much do, since this is a like campaign, it's not as obvious, but always make sure it says Facebook and feeds, because I don't ever see Facebook ads anywhere else.
No.
Since we're on a like campaign, that's the only way it works, so we don't have to worry about changing that, but when we do the next two campaigns, we have to make sure on that. So after we go through that, we're going to go down to budget and schedule. For daily budget, I always recommend just starting at $5 a day.
So
Mhm.
how much does it cost per?
click.
Yeah.
Cost per
Right.
click. Pretty much that's one thing you're going to have to see after the ad actually runs. You're
Okay.
going to have to see how many people like it and see, like, okay, I spent this amount of money and I got this many likes. We're able to do the math from there. Right now, I can't tell you.
Okay.
So
So
also,
if I put
yeah.
$100 in as my max and $5 a day, then once I hit the $100, it'll just.
once it hits that day limit, it stops. And actually, let me show you a little bit more control that's right below it.
The other
Um,
limit was a monthly limit, though, right?
It's
or just a limit in general.
limit in general.
Okay.
And also, if you want to give this campaign a hard start and stop date, right below it, where it says schedule, it has two things: run my ad continuously or
So,
set a start and stop date. So if you only want to do, say, 2 weeks or something like that,
Like for Christmas or something like that, she would only want to do it
Yes.
then. She would want to be
running and running
advertising
and running.
Christmas on July 15th or June 15th.
Yeah, absolutely.
January 15th. There we go.
Right.
Whatever.
Jade.
Yep.
so on this one, because we're doing a like campaign,
Mhm.
what are you guys recommending on setting a date or just running it?
For a like campaign, since that's kind of like what I would consider an evergreen ad, you always kind of want people liking your page. So I would just leave it running continuously.
Yeah.
Okay,
And then, of course, set your budget accordingly.
So we'll spend no more
Okay,
than
now-
$31 a week.
she made the click comment about people clicking on.
That's what I wanna
So
Mm-hmm.
if my daily budget is $5, Facebook is charging every time somebody clicks to like my page, 25 cents a click or something like that.
Um,
Or how do we?
that's going to be one of those things that you're going to have to see it run to see where your metrics are at.
Okay, so if I set
Yes.
it at $5
Mhm.
and I look at the matrix later and it said 5 people clicked, I hit my budget. That means they're
$1.
charging me $1
Mhm.
a click.
Yes,
$1.
that would be your pretty much like how much your likes are
So
costing
if
you.
it's
Right.
like Google, like most things on Google, if I'm correct, then it
Mm.
depends on how many other people are trying to market the same thing to the same audience. Depends on the price that it's going to cost you. Because if you, like, let's say the 3 other competitors you have in the area
Yeah,
are all trying to do the same thing and get the same exact audience,
they're gonna
there's
up the
more
price up.
demand, so they're gonna increase your price.
Pretty much.
Okay, I mean, but has anybody seen like how much their clicks are costing
But that's
them
why you
on
set
Google
your
or-
limit to
Right.
somewhere else, so you can.
So then
test
what
it
happens,
first.
once it hits the $5 budget, then nobody can click it anymore?
The
Um,
ad will just
The
go
ad
away
is
from the
not
feed.
showing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the ad stops,
Yeah.
okay.
but after we set our daily budget, so let's say it's $5. Down here on optimization, I pretty much leave this alone. And then we go onto the blue button that says continue. Because right now it says format. I recommend just sticking with the single image.
Do you want left off?
Yeah,
So can
it says-
continue?
Yeah, got it.
There you go.
Okay,
And then as you can tell, you have a couple of choices on what you want your image to be. I always recommend a good image.
That good?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Start.
I always recommend just starting with a picture. If you have a video or you want to make a slideshow out of a couple of pictures, you can do so. Facebook kind of likes more video-ish things to begin with. However, I mean, we all have our different resources to draw from. And then as you scroll down, you see where you can upload images. Typically on a like campaign, Facebook is going to pull the cover image from your Facebook page. For example, this one right here is for kind of like a video game type thing. So it's going to just pull that right from there and make it the default picture. And of course, when it comes to images, you can add more by clicking Add More Images. And I have to admit, Facebook does have a pretty good selection of stock images as well. So if you don't have any or you don't want to buy any images, Facebook stock images is actually pretty helpful. Okay, so whenever you got your image or video selected, you're going to go down here to the next part. As you can tell, this kind of gives you a snippet of what the ad will actually look like. Right here, it allows you to see what it looks like on mobile news feed or on your desktop. That way, like say when you're writing text, you can kind of have a visual to look at. Your text will go right here, obviously in the text box. And like I mentioned before, for a like campaign, definitely have some kind of benefit to the user, like say like my page to get deals on what to do on a Saturday night or something like that.
so that's what we would wanna put into the text?
Yes. You know, some kind of small little benefit, a little opt-in thing, so people will like the page. And this is where you kind of have to put on some creative brain power, because there's not like a silver bullet formula.
So if they like our page at that time,
Mhm.
and let's just, I'm saying, like our page and get free tips on escape room.
Yeah, of course, it could
But
be
then
something like that.
once, so that means I have to, before I really set this campaign or as soon as I do it,
Mhm.
I need to go on my page and throw on tips and tricks on working an escape room.
Well,
So then they click onto it.
you are going to have some type of content on your page for people to consume, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So maybe it's about like say different types of wines or different kind of escape room hacks or something like that.
Sure.
It's kind of where you have to think of something creative for people to actually give a like.
How long can this
Yeah,
text
I mean-
be
I-
in here?
That's the one I don't know off the top of my head. I think
the
it's
text is the
80
top part?
characters.
So the
Yes,
80 characters? Okay,
80
so
characters
it's gotta
roughly.
be
Yeah.
really short sentence.
Like I have it last one.
So if you were to say,
I do that all the time.
do you say like my page? You say
Yes.
Like my
Yeah,
page?
yes.
Okay,
Make
so
sure you
like
have an
my
action
page.
verb.
And once it likes it, that's when our ads start being tossed onto their newsfeed.
Yes
Only half.
and no, which sounds really confusing. Pretty much likes mean people are liking your page. So if you just put a post on there, they are going to see it.
Yeah.
If they don't like your page, they're not going to see your
They
post.
run, yeah.
However, if you do like say a promotional ad, which is going to be the next thing we're going to do, both people who like your page and those that don't will see it. So yeah, pretty much have to get your text, pop that in there,
Okay, yeah.
and honestly, if it looks good to you, you just go down and click the confirm button, and then Facebook goes ahead and reviews it.